Hey friends, I'm so excited. In today's video, I have a very special guest. This is Miss Jane Iredale, the icon herself, the founder of Jane Iredale Cosmetics, skincare makeup brand. You guys know this is one of my favorite brands. I'm always talking about Jane Iredale. I have a great partnership with them, and I am here in the Berkshires. I've spent the last week here with Jane, and we thought we would share some of our favorite products with you.
Yeah.
So welcome to my channel.
Thank you, darling.
Yes. We had a YouTube live earlier this morning. It was so much fun, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, you're wonderful at this kind of thing. I just
You
follow
are too.
your lead. I
Oh,
just
you are
follow
too.
your lead.
If you actually were on that live, I'm sure some of you watching were, drop a comment down below and let us know if you were on that live. Today, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite products, and I'm going to let you kick it off first.
Okay. So something I wear every single day was our second product that we brought out, the Pure Press Base. It's pressed minerals with an SPF. It's a powder, concealer, sunscreen, all in one. And I use it every single day with this. I just introduced this marvelous brush of yours. And I put it on top of Dream Tint, which is our tinted moisturizer. This also has an SPF, so I'm kind of layering the SPFs. This is my routine every morning. Dream Tint and then pressed powder.
So you do the Dream Tint first. And
I
that's
do
like
the Dream
I
Tint
actually just learned about this. I've never tried that product.
Yeah. No, I love it. I often wear it just by itself, but most days I'm going to put this on and then brush the mineral pressed base on top. With a wonderful brush like this. And I get great sunscreen protection, and it just sort of evens everything out.
Yeah.
So it still looks like skin, but it's better.
Yeah. And so this is your moisturizer. You don't use this in addition
Yeah,
to
no, I usually start out with the AHA product, the hyaluronic acid, as a nice base. And if I'm really doing it up proud, I'll use our primer. And then I put the Dream Tint on. This is a tinted moisturizer, and it will actually stop you losing your own moisture. It's called transepidermal water loss. It means you hold on to more of your own moisture as well as adding it with this. And then add my Pure Press base on top. If I were to go to a desert island and be there for the rest of my life, this is what I would have with me.
That was the question I was going to ask you. This is actually one of the first Jane Iredale products that I was introduced to the brand on as well. And I love it. And it's funny, I will never forget being in a Blue Mercury store, sitting down with Sean from your team. And, you know, when I go to a makeup, Sephora, Ulta, wherever I might go to shop, you know, the person helping me doesn't know that I am somewhat of an expert in beauty. You know, they don't know I was a makeup artist or that I have a beauty channel. And so he sits me down and he's like, I'm going to apply this powder foundation on you. And my first thought was like, I'm 30, you know, I'm 39. I don't wear powder foundation anymore, you know. And he applied it, and I looked in the mirror and I was blown away. It didn't look like the powder foundations that I remember using in my 20s.
No, because they were full of talc. And this has no talc.
And this actually reflects light, so it looks more
It reflects
natural
and refracts, so that it's taking on your own skin color as well as the surrounding colors, which is why it looks so natural on the skin. And the very first product we brought out was called Amazing Base, because that was the loose mineral powders. And what happened when I put it on somebody for the first time, they always said, amazing. So I thought I'd call it Amazing Base.
Yeah, I love that story. Okay, well, I'm going to share one of my current favorite foundations. And this is not just from your brand, but just as a whole. I would say in my most used current top 5 foundations right now, it's this one. This is the Skin Tuition from Jane Iredale. This is the one that you guys recently launched this year. I was so excited about this. I actually got to somewhat be involved a little tiny way in the development of this product. I got to sample this a year before it launched, and a little, you know, sample
part of the inner circle.
Yes, and share my feedback on it. And I was so excited because I loved the Pure Press base so much. But I knew that some people just really want a liquid foundation.
Absolutely.
So this gives, I would say, about a medium coverage. It's not like a heavy-duty full coverage foundation, but it definitely gives me all the coverage that I need. And I said this earlier in our live, but I think one of the most common mistakes that we make is wearing too much coverage that we don't actually need. So I think for like 95% of us, this is going to give you the coverage you need. And it has a really skin-like finish. So it doesn't look matte and powdered, but it's also not like really dewy and wet looking. It just has this very natural radiance look to the skin. Sometimes I'll mattify it with powder. I'll set it with powder if I want, if it's like a hot humid day outside, or if my skin's maybe a little more combo or oily, I'll set it with a powder. And some days I just wear it as it is. It has an SPF in it as well. So I'm the shade 36 light medium. But this is one of my favorites.
Good. As Chris is always saying to me, our CEO, this is our biggest launch ever. And it's just going phenomenally well.
That's kind of, and you can actually wear the two together. So I'll wear the
Yeah.
liquid foundation and then I'll dust a little bit of the Pure Pressed base on it.
Yeah, you can do that. That's what this Pure Press base is so good at. You can wear it alone, you can wear it on top of something, you can layer it. It just gives that final finishing touch to the skin.
People always ask me, like, what brush do you recommend with the Pure Press base? And I really kind of have two go-tos. I have our BK Beauty 104, which I don't have in front of me, but it's a large, fluffy brush. So it's designed to pick up powder in a light manner and apply it very light and sheerly. So that's what I'll use if I'm applying this on top of like a liquid foundation. But if I want more coverage, I'll use the 107 because this will pick up and apply a lot of coverage and really give you that full coverage finish from this one product. So I love it. Okay, what's your next product?
It was so hard to choose because I have my system every day and I use the same product all the time. So the idea of having to pick from my babies was hard. But I used to use an eyeliner that we have called Mystical, but then our new product developer brought these out and they've been such a hit and they're so wonderful. These are the eyeshadow sticks. So you can use them as shadows but also as liners. At the end they have this marvelous little sharpener so you can actually sharpen the point of the stick and use it. And so this is what I use. I put it as close to the lash line as I can get, like this, and then I take a brush, and in this case, this is your brush, which does a really great job with it. And I just kind of smooth it out and blend it a little bit, blend, and then blend some more. And I find this is just so easy to travel with. That's not going to spill anywhere. And I love that. Together with another one that I use called Saddle, which has a more of a peachy orange tone to it because it really helps to pop blue eyes. And then I can put a little bit of that on top, a little bit underneath. It's so quick. So it's all about simple, quick, easy,
and it lasts forever.
Forever. I can't imagine ever. I don't think I'm going to live long enough to use this up, honestly.
Well, that and also just the longevity of wearing that during the day.
Wearing it, yes.
It's creamy. It's creamy, so it gives you time to like manipulate it or smudge it. But once it dries, it sets and stays in place. So my always tip with these is if you're going to do, like what you said, do a liner and then smudge it. I like to do one eye at a time. That way, when I go back to blend, it hasn't already dried.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few more to share. I'm going to okay. Anyone that knows me and watches my videos regularly, this is not going to be a surprise, but this is my all-time favorite blush. This is the Jane Iredale Glow Time Blush Stick in the shade Balmy, and I love everything about this product. So first, the formula has to hit right. Like, it has to be blendable, it has to be buildable. I like a blush that doesn't go on so strong and so heavy, but also one that allows you to build up and get more color if you want it. And I feel like this formula has the perfect amount of pigment. Yeah. It's so creamy and it just blends beautifully. There's no shimmer particles in here, but because the formula is a cream, it's going to still give a radiant glow to the skin. And then this other thing that hits is this color. This color is, I feel like anytime I make a video about how to turn back time or how to get a youthful glow or youthful look, I always share this color because I think when you add a color like this on the face, it just lightens up the face. It looks so healthy. So I love this. I'm going to actually apply a little bit more. I like to take the brush and go directly to the product.
You can put it on me.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. She was just asking me before we started filming if she had enough blush.
Do I have enough blush on?
And I said, we can wait and we'll put more on you when we get into filming. And then I like to kind of blot it on the back of my hand.
And this is a really good tip, by the way, when you get your makeup finished, go back and check your blush and make sure that the blush hasn't sort of faded away in the makeup, because sometimes you put it on before you finish your eyes and it looks strong, but then when you've got your eyes done and your lips done, suddenly you need more blush.
You need more blush, yes.
Yeah, the last thing you do is just check that.
And if you ever over apply blush, we talked about this earlier too, you can just take whatever brush you use to apply your foundation and just bounce it around the areas that you want to diminish on the blush or tone down. It kind of works like an eraser. Yeah, that's so pretty. Now it's my turn. I love this. I also love the color Smolder, which I just discovered earlier this year. That's such a good color too. I think I got so fixated on this shade that I didn't try any others.
It really does add youth to the face.
It does. It really does.
And I love the way you're using the back of your hand to do it.
It's like a palette.
Yeah.
And you used this on your eyes earlier.
I did. Because I'm all about quick and easy. Just go like this with my finger and put it on my eyelids. Done.
Yeah. So I love this. This is usually whenever you guys have your spring sale or anytime throughout the year where the website has discounts. I always tell people, without a doubt, you will love this. Order this. This is a great place to start. Yeah, this and the Pure Press Base are my two recommendations that I know I can recommend to and anybody's going to love it.
Do you know that we had on the Pure Press Base just had our review number 5,000?
I'm not surprised.
And we're still up to 4.5 stars with 5,000
reviews,
people.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. What have I got next? Okay, so this is our new tubular mascara, which is really quite wonderful and easy to put on, easy to take off. Nice little brush. I've always used the lash conditioner and the longest lash, and I will go back and forth. But I find this is, again, easy, simple, stays on, and really easy, very easy to remove with the Magic Mitt. My famous Magic Mitt. Just water will take this off. And it stays. It's not going to smudge or move around.
I haven't tried removing that with a Magic Mitt.
Oh, yeah.
So tubing mascara, if you're not familiar, the kind of magic thing about it is that you can remove it with just warm water. And so what I do is I take warm water on my fingertips and I just kind of roll down my lashes. But I'm going to try the Magic Mitt.
Oh, yeah. So I'll take a wet night and just do like this. And
yeah, there it is.
There it is.
I want to share a concealer. Next, I have a concealer to share. I was telling the story earlier about the Enlighten Plus concealer. I've used this for several years, but in what I do, I'm always trying new product all the time, right? I'm buying new products. So even if I really like something, unfortunately, I kind of forget about it. You know, it gets put in a drawer and then
I know what you mean.
Yes, and then last month I pulled this out to use it, and I haven't put it away since. It's what I've traveled here with. It's what I use all the time. This is a concealer, and I love several things about this. One, I love the applicator of it. So it's not like a doe foot wand applicator like most concealers are these days. This is in a little squeeze tube, and it has this little cooling tip applicator. It's cold. I don't store this in the refrigerator. I don't keep it in a cold climate, but it's cooling, which I wake up every morning, and it doesn't matter what I've eaten the day before. I just have puffiness under the eyes. You know, my eyes need time to wake up, and I feel like this really helps wake them up. You know, that cold tool just feels like a glass of water in the morning to my under eyes, you know? Yeah. So I'll squeeze a little bit of this, and then I'll use the tip to spread it, and then I'll go back in with the brush to blend it out. I usually use the BK Beauty A506 brush, and I'll just tap it underneath the eye to blend it out. I also love the formula. It's creamy and hydrating, but it doesn't crease or move throughout the day.
I mean, I saw you put that on this morning, and it's still exactly where you put it.
Let me double check. I know.
Yeah.
I don't tell lies here. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
I also love the color of this. It's a concealer skin tone color, but it also has a lot of peach to it. So if you have really dark under eyes, I always tell people, I think a lot of people make the mistake of having dark under eyes, so they go and they grab a light concealer to cover that. But I just tell people it's like having a bruise and wearing white pantyhose. Like, you're not fooling anybody. If anything, you're going to have like a gray cast come through.
Yes, that's right.
So you need something with a little bit of peach to help neutralize and work against that darkness. And this has peach in it. Yeah. So if you are someone that uses a color corrector and a concealer, and you're kind of in that light medium skin tone range, this could probably double as both for you. So I love this.
Here's a mistake using a too light concealer. And the whole thing about makeup is that light comes forward and dark recedes. So if you put a light concealer on the bags you're trying to conceal, it's going to make them stand out more.
Right.
So you really have to find a color that is neutral on your face and is going to help to counteract the gray. So you don't want that gray seeping through. And that's why that has got that peach tone to it, because it really will neutralize the gray.
I love it. It's my favorite.
So, you know what, we're talking about this, we haven't really talked about brows, but I really think brows are one of the most important features on the face, because they frame the eye and they actually balance the face. If you think of the face in thirds, third, and a third, the brows are really, really important. So I thought it would be just to take 2 seconds to explain how you map the classic brow, which is, so take a brush and just go from the corner of the nose to the corner of the eye, and that's kind of where the brow ends.
Is that where my brow ends?
Yeah, that's where your brow ends.
Did I do a good job? Okay.
And then you want it to arch at the edge of the iris, not in the middle of the iris, because that'll give you a surprise look on the outside. And then start the brow. If you run the brush down the side of the nose, you start the brow there.
How did I do? Does mine need a little tweaking?
No, I think you're good.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, I think you're good. Yeah. The old Hollywood look was to arch it right over the middle of the iris, and everybody looked surprised.
Uh-huh. I remember that.
But if you just do that, you can just do a little dot 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 and connect the dots, and you've got a real classic shape for the brow.
I can
it suits every face.
I can envision an actress in my mind. I don't know her name, but I remember from like seeing her.
Clara Bow, probably.
Maybe where the brows are really.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any brow products that you wanted to share, or you just wanted to share the technique?
Well, we've got a wonderful brow stick with a little brush on the end, a little brow brush. So yeah, there are all kinds of colors in that. So
what do you use on your brows?
Well, I don't.
No,
I did microblading years ago, and then I used a thing called Just for Men. My hairdresser turned me on to years ago, and so I just dye them about once every month, and that's it. I don't do anything.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good
Again,
trick.
quick and easy.
Yeah, nice trick. I'm going to share this palette, an eyeshadow palette, because I think that, I don't know if you see this, but when I look at all the new launches that are coming out, it's all about cream products, cream sticks, cream shadow formulas, which I love. I use those. Those are definitely in my makeup routine, but it's been a while since I've seen a powder shadow palette get some attention. And I have to say, I use this palette all the time. This is the Naturally Matte palette. And what I love about this palette is that you get 6 shadows. They're all neutral. And I feel like you guys did a great job of balancing out the warm and cool tones in this. It's not all warm. It's not all cool. There's a really good balance of both. I've just been traveling a lot over the last 2 years. And when I'm packing my makeup, this is a palette that I can just grab and I don't have to think twice about. I don't have to think, is this going to have everything I need? I can create anything from a really soft, minimal makeup look to something more glamorous with this palette. I love this. And the quality of the shadows. Matte shadows can be a little trickier to, to find, like, for them to be velvety and blend beautifully. Sometimes they're too sheer or they're patchy. And I think that these just are so nice and so consistent.
Yeah, no, and that's been with us a long time because it really does work for so many people.
Yeah, I think in the beauty community, we are always seeing everything new that's coming out, the newest release. And sometimes it's nice to, like, let's not forget about the
tried and true that never fails.
So I love this one. And I'll actually use these darker shadows as liner too.
Oh yeah.
So I don't even need liner.
And you can wet them and use them as a wet liner as well.
Yep. I love this. And I love the mirror. It's a good size mirror on here. This is perfect size. It's small and compact, but it
feels good in the hand.
It does.
Yeah. So what else do I have? Okay, so the next thing I have, which is my I probably should be a little more adventurous, but when you find something that you like and works. Every day I use Forever Red, which is actually a lip stain, and it looks different on everybody because it changes your own skin tone with the acid in your skin.
I need this. I can't leave today without getting one of these.
And so I usually take terracotta pencil and do a little outline, and if you have trouble outlining your lips. We talked about brows. You don't want them to be a match. Don't need to be twins. They shouldn't be twins because it looks artificial.
But not distant cousins.
So
they need to be related.
But not distant cousins, right? So I feel the same way about lips. Nobody has perfectly equal lips and brows. That's what makes every face look interesting. Everything's a little bit different. So what you can do, just to give yourself some guide when you're doing your mouth, is do a little dot at the top of the bow here, a little dot here on the other bow, and then follow that down, little dot on the lower lip, and follow that down there, and then you just connect the dots. But you don't connect them with a line and a line. You do it feathering. And then I just fill in a little bit, leaving the center of the lower lip free of color, because again, the lighter shades pop, gives a little pout, and then I go over with a Forever Red. And if I'm really feeling fancy, I put a gloss in the lower lip.
Only the lower lip.
Lower lip.
Do you blot it to the upper lip, or do you just leave the gloss in the lower?
I put it in the lower lip, then I might go like that.
I am excited to try that. I haven't tried that either.
Well,
and it's like a stain, so it doesn't.
It's a stain. It won't budge. I don't know what I'd do without it.
Yeah, and it's hydrating to the lips.
It's very hydrating. It feels like chapstick, but much better.
Okay, I need one of those today. Can you get me one, please?
I think we can.
Okay.
We may have one in inventory.
Yes, I want to try that. Okay, so since we're talking about lips, I wanted to share my next favorite product. Actually, this is my last favorite product to share. It's the Color Luxe High Impact Lip Glazes, and I brought my 3 favorite shades to share with you guys. So this is like, I say this is like a lip treatment mixed with a gloss. It's like a hybrid between a lip gloss and a lip treatment. So it gives you the shine, that glossy, like glass-like shine like a lip gloss, but it's very lightweight. It doesn't feel sticky or heavy on the lips at all. And the color is really like a medium level of pigment. So you can wear it alone and you'll have good color on the lips. But if you want something sheer, you can also do a light little layer on top of whatever lip color you're wearing.
Or on top of a pencil. That really works well as well.
So these 3 shades are my favorite. I have Nectar. I'm going to swatch these for you too. This is the shade Nectar. And actually, we'll do them on both yours and mine because we're different skin tones. So it'll be nice to see. Okay, so this is the shade Nectar. You want to hold this up? Nectar. Nice, pretty kind of peachy ginger shade. Nice and neutral. And then we have the shade All Natural. This is the shade that I have on right now. And I have this layered on top of terracotta lip liner, spice lip liner, a lipstick, desert rose lipstick, is that right? And then this. So I have a lot on my lips, but this is what I have topping it. This is All Natural. So this is a really sheer, light, kind of baby pink. This is on the more sheer side. So this is great if you just want to add a little gloss on top of your lip color, but you don't want to change the color of your lipstick too much. And then this one, if I had to pick one out of the 3, I would say this. This is the color Flush, and this has a bit more of an impact. It's kind of a more, how would you describe that color?
Well, that's definitely cool. That's got some blue in it.
Yeah, but it's a good
blue pink.
Poppy pink. I love this color. I always like, if I'm wearing little eye makeup and I'm not wearing a lot on my eyes, I like a little bit more color and impact on the lips, and this is one that you can wear and get that.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because it used to be, makeup used to be balance the eyes with the lips, and that now if you were to do that, it looks so old-fashioned, which is why it's so important to just understand what the trends are in makeup and adapt them for yourself. Keep your own personality, but you really have to move on with makeup, otherwise it can be aging.
Right.
And nobody wants that. I love these shades that are adaptable, that you can put on top of pencils or on top of a lip color and just make it your own.
Oh, yeah. But I love these. I feel like these are very wearable too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you can wear them every day. So yeah, that's my next favorite. Or you have any other favorites?
Well, I've got lots of favorites, but I was told
I did want to just
narrow it down.
Yeah,
so I did to my absolute favorites, my desert island favorites.
Yes.
And I could get by with these.
Okay, so I need to leave here with the lip
Forever
stain
Red.
and the dream tint.
Yes, medium light, I think, for you.
Medium light, okay. Well, thank you so much for being on my channel.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure.
Fun.
I love doing it with you.
Oh, we've had so much fun. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, everything will be tagged and linked in the description box below. So if you want to shop any of these products, I'll have the products along with our particular shade names that we mentioned in the description box. Drop us a comment. Let us know if you learned anything from this video or if you're going to try any of these products. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.